Hi, this is Sonia Doucette. In this video, I'm going to show you how to find percent yield. So in order to find percent yield, you need to do a couple of things first, and they were done in previous videos, so I'm not going to do that again. But you have to determine which of the two reactants is the limiting reactant. So it was already determined that lithium oxide is the limiting reactant. And then you also have to figure out what the theoretical yield is based on the amount of that limiting reactant that you have. So you have 65.0 grams of lithium oxide, and in a previous video we used that number to determine the theoretical yield of the product, which is lithium hydroxide, to be 104 grams. So that was your theoretical yield. And you need to know that before you can find percent yield, because what percent yield is it's the actual yield from some laboratory experiment divided by the theoretical yield, which is what you determine should be produced based on an idealized balanced chemical equation. So again, the theoretical yield comes from a balanced chemical equation, such as the one shown here. So that is, in theory, what should be produced according to the reaction stoichiometry. And then the actual yield is what's actually produced in a laboratory experiment. So you're told that the actual yield of lithium oxide is 88.0 grams. So that could be for one laboratory, given the methods that that laboratory uses. Another laboratory might not be as good or might be better than the laboratory that gave this 88.0 gram lithium hydroxide number. So their actual yield might be higher or lower than the one given here. So actual yield is going to vary with the conditions under which the experiment takes place. And the reason you have less, so notice that the theoretical yield is 104 grams and the actual yield is 88 grams. So the actual yield is always going to be less than the theoretical yield, always. And there's one big reason for that, which is side reactions. So there are a lot of reactions that are happening when lithium and water react with each other that lead to products other than lithium hydroxide. So they're called side reactions. So we're not counting those products, because what we did is we took the weight of lithium hydroxide after this reaction occurred, and all of the lithium and the oxygen and the hydrogen that went into other compounds and other products due to those side reactions are not counted as part of the lithium hydroxide product. So they're lost, and that's why the actual yield is always less than the theoretical yield. Okay, so the next thing is, what do you do here? Well, you're given the actual yield, so let's plug things into this equation to actually find the percent yield. So you just take the actual yield, which is 88.0 grams of lithium hydroxide, divide it by the theoretical yield, which you'd have to determine prior to doing this, which is 104 grams of lithium hydroxide. Multiply that by 100, and what you're going to get for your percent yield is 84.6% lithium hydroxide. So only 84.6% of the lithium hydroxide that could possibly be produced in theory, according to the reaction stoichiometry, was actually produced. And again, a big reason for this is side reactions. It could also be laboratory technique not being very good, losing product when you're transferring it from filter paper to a balance to an oven, for example. There could be losses that occur along the way as well that affect what the actual yield of your product is.